When it comes to Naruto losing Kurama, there's a lot of people who grab the pitchforks and they swear to burn down the offices of everyone involved in the decision to have Naruto lose Kurama's power. I've often said that the outrage during those Boruto chapters reminds me a lot of the meltdowns that happened on internet forums back in the day, where people were complaining about the pain arc when the manga was weekly, calling it pointless to have Naruto suffer so much and be unable to protect his village, his friends, and that forcing him to transform into the Nine Tails, Kishimoto was, quote, ruining your own manga, end quote. It speaks volumes to how strongly people are passionate about the beloved knuckleheaded character that we watched grow up in Naruto Uzumaki. And just as 2009 saw fans have that meltdown over that decision to tear Naruto down, over a decade later, we're in a similar situation all over again, even a full year removed after the events of Naruto losing Kurama. Naruto has once again been torn down, but this time the ramifications are going to be a lot more permanent. In this video, I wanted to touch on this topic of Naruto's nerf in a different way than I did in my video titled Why Baryon Mode's Cursed Power and Kurama's Death Are Naruto's Final Warning, because in that video, I had to pull some punches because the anime had just aired the episode and people were highly emotional over Kurama's death. In that video, I actually scripted it up in the lead up to the anime episode with the intention of covering the loss of Kurama based off the manga version in order to address the angst I knew anime fans would feel once we got that episode in the anime, but none of us saw the anime version of Kurama's death being as heartbreaking as it was, filled with the extra 2 minutes of animation in order to make the episode run longer, in order to send off our beloved nine-tailed fox off to the afterlife to join Hagoromo, Minato, and Kushina. So in this video, I wanted to pull off those gloves and go full into this in ways I couldn't in that video, because at the time people are too emotional in order to hear some of the stuff I wanted to talk about. And I want to explain the true beauty of the anime version of this death, pointing out why fans should be fine with Kurama dying, as well as the beautiful decision that Kishimoto had to remove Kurama from Naruto. Now, I know just suggesting that is going to likely piss off a lot of you guys, but I'm asking you sincerely to sit down through the entire video, and I promise you, you are going to go back to Kurama's death in Boruto episode 218 and you're going to see it through a different perspective. So getting right into it, I think we pretty much be hard-pressed to find anyone who didn't like the bait and switch of Baryon mode, which is we went in thinking that Naruto was going to die, only to learn that it was Kurama who died instead. The send-off for Kurama with the Who Are You playing over the compilation of Naruto and Kurama likely had a lot of us crying, and the double meaning behind the music choice, Who Are You, is where we're gonna have to start right here. Who are you? It's a simple question, but for Naruto Uzumaki, this is a question with a whole new meaning right now, because all throughout the Naruto franchise, Naruto knew who he was. Naruto Uzumaki, the Jinchuriki of the Nine Tails. Who are you? Naruto Uzumaki. He's trying to learn that answer right now to the question in the anime, and we clearly see that Naruto right now doesn't have that answer just yet, because he directly said after losing Kurama, he felt like a part of him was missing. The montage of memories that we saw when the song was playing hit everybody hard, because we were just like Naruto. Naruto knew exactly where those moments came from, just like we did. Naruto's pain was our pain. Our pain was Naruto's pain. The anime succeeded in doing something that the manga absolutely did a horrible job at trying to convey, which is convey the emotion for this scene, which when properly done, a skilled mangaka with art on a page can convey more emotion than what you would get with animation and a music soundtrack. But in this case, in this moment, the anime won that battle hands down, and it's not even close. Regardless as to if you're in the majority like me who prefer the anime version of Kurama's death, or if you're that guy that's in the minority who prefer Ikimoto's attempt in the manga, Naruto having to answer that question of who are you works for a different reason. To understand why, we have to go back to Naruto during the 5 Kage summit, where he told Sasuke if they fought and both of them died, Naruto would no longer be the Jinchuriki of the Nine Tails. And over 10 years since that manga chapter came out, where Naruto told Sasuke that, we've now reached that point in time where Naruto as we knew him is dead. Naruto is no longer Jinchuriki. The beauty in this is both in the symbolism as well as in Masashi Kishimoto's penchant for Asian mythology and religion, which has been an extremely strong influence on his writing. writing, especially in regards to Samsara. Symbolically, the very same thing that caused Naruto pain for over half of his life, being a Jinchuriki to the Nine Tails, is what allowed him to survive Baryon mode, which freed him from the price of death that came from that form, but it also left him with the new status quo where in order to save Kawaki from Ishiki, Naruto had to give up Kurama, which later on down the line when Kawaki versus Naruto happens in the time skip, it's going to be another knife in the heart of fans because Naruto literally gave up everything for the boy who's eventually going to betray him in the end. However, as Naruto searches for the answer to that question, who are you? It's important for us as fans to understand why Kishimoto did what he did and what the influence behind that reason was. If you're one of those people who's saying, bruh, they did this so Naruto could be nerfed and so Boruto could make everything go boom boom and he could surpass Naruto and Sasuke and everybody else who came before him, or if you know anybody that's saying that bullshit, this is the part of the video where I challenge you to write down the timestamp and show it to them. All throughout Naruto's manga, from volume 1 all the way to volume 72, Kishimoto's writing influence to incorporate Buddhism and Hinduism, Shintoism, Taoism has been on full display, including the Hinduism belief of rebirth and samsara. Seeds for the escape from rebirth and samsara were planted all throughout Naruto's manga, and with Boruto being part 2 of the story in manga format, we've been seeing the seeds from the departure from both of those concepts in ways like moving away from the powers and concepts of the six paths themselves by introducing Ishiki Otsuki and the dojutsu that takes on the pattern of the 8 trifold path, which in of itself can be viewed as moving from the liberation away from samsara, which is what the powers of the 6 paths were rooted in, which makes it that much more fitting that Naruto used Baryon mode against a foe beyond 6 paths power that ultimately freed him from the Nine Tails power. However, we have to dive deeper into the concept of Motsuka to fully understand this, which is the escape from rebirth and samsara, where the belief is that Motsuka grants release from pain, suffering, and as a person strives for Moksha, which is believed to only be reached when you reach that otherworldly reality that comes from the end of the life cycle. That's why Baryon mode resulting in Kurama's death and Kurama dying inside that shared space with Naruto hit so hard, because while Naruto's journey up to this point has always been with Kurama at his side, Kurama is now getting off the train stop so Naruto's journey can continue. While some believe that Motsuka can be achieved as a state of enlightenment that is reliant on spiritual and personal endeavors, the belief that it comes at the end of the life cycle is a more common belief, which is what Kishimoto clearly took inspiration from when it comes to Baryon mode. Biju up to this point in time were considered to be immortal. They were the literal embodiment of samsara's cycle of life, death, and rebirth. Baryon mode consumes the chakra of the Biju to form a new energy, then it kills the same Biju by consuming the very essence as a result of creating a non-existence. The cycle of death and rebirth for an immortal being that has always been reborn after death in the past had finally been broken. The achievement of transcendence of all authors had finally been accomplished. It was overcoming the desires and the ignorance due to self-realization, self-actualization, and self-knowledge of oneself. Baryon mode being used by a perfect Jinchuriki and their Biju is so poetic because under most circumstances they are reliant on one another, but at the end of a Jinchuriki's life they will always die and the Biju will always be reformed. In this case it's the opposite. The Biju, the immortal being and the beneficiary of samsara, has reached the end of its life, and the Jinchuriki is the one left alive after the samsara cycle had been broken, i.e. Motsuka. Together, the two overcame ignorance that came from Biju being viewed as chakra monsters whose power was meant to be tamed when sealed inside of a Jinchuriki, who in turn would use that power as a destructive weapon. Naruto, the boy, who not only calmed the spirit of the Nine Tails, the mightiest of the tailed beasts, but he also learned the names and he connected with the souls of all 9 Biju, is the embodiment of overcoming ignorance, which in of itself is very ironic given that when we first meet Naruto, Naruto is the very definition of ignorant. Naruto and Kurama, through their bond that was formed, detached themselves from the desire that came from living in the material world, but the one that was the most detached was not the mortal person of this duo. Instead, the one that was most detached was the immortal. It was Kurama. Naruto, upon meeting Kurama in that shared space, clearly had other regrets. He was worrying about his son Boruto, he was worrying about Kawaki's future, he worried about his family, he worried about his village. There was a lot left that Naruto had not done yet. Naruto hadn't fully detached, nor did he need to, because the one required to reach Motsuka was Kurama. Biju live in a world where they have endless existence. They see humans live, they see humans die, they see their descendants repeat this cycle of birth, life, and death. It's an endless cycle. It's part of the human journey. It's not a journey that Biju themselves are a part of because they always come back. Kurama willingly detached himself from that cycle of samsara where he will be reborn as reformed chakra in order to save Naruto from that price of dying. An immortal gave up his own immortality to save a mere mortal, which is very fitting given that it fits the nature of how Kishimoto writes, especially when we consider his penchant for Asian folklore and Hinduism. Now, for those of you guys who might be saying, bruh, you're reading too much into this. This is again where I challenge you. Learn more about samsara, Shinto, Buddhism, Hinduism. Then go back and read Naruto's manga. Everything from the chapter covers to the volume covers to the personalities of the characters to the jutsu. In some of the cases, the circumstances under which the jutsu are being used, they are direct reflections of the above mentioned concepts I laid out for you. One time is a moment of accidental brilliance, but when it's done consistently over 14 years and throughout all 72 volumes of Naruto's manga, that's not something done by mistake. It's something that's done by design. Now, it's okay to mourn Kurama's passing, to be upset that he died, and that Boruto's story is doing what we were literally told in chapter 1 of it, which is the story is moving away from being the story of father and son and is instead becoming the story of what Boruto referred to, my story. But it's also important to see the true reasons as to why this is done. To say that this is only done to make Naruto weaker is to be ignorant and to ignore the writing habits of an author who purposely twists together Asian mythological and religious concepts for his writing, as he's always done. Anyway, I hope this gives at least some closure to a lot of you guys for Kurama dying. If you're interested in learning more about the mythology inside of Naruto, consider watching these other videos you see on the screen right now.